Welcome to the 81st Annual Golden Globes.
Oh no. What are we watching? Is this a high school talent show?
What are you doing here?
What do you mean? What am I doing here, Demi?
This is my week.
Is this a corporate Zoom call?
To Andra Day.
Nope. This is the Golden Globes. Yes, the Golden Globes. The same awards show that once gave us legendary, unpredictable moments, Hollywood glamour, and, dare I say it, actual prestige. And now we get this. But wait, how did we get here? How did a once celebrated awards show, known for its spontaneity and genuine star power, become a hollow spectacle of forced celebrity interactions and questionable nominations? How did the Golden Globes go from being the cool, slightly tipsy cousin of the Oscars to an embarrassing, overproduced TikTok live stream with zero credibility? Buckle up, because this is the story of how one of Hollywood's biggest nights crashed and burned. Once upon a time, the Golden Globes were the event of the season. Started in 1944 by the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, yes, a group of journalists, not industry insiders, the Globes quickly became known as the fun awards show. Less stuffy than the Oscars, more inclusive than the SAG Awards, and with just the right amount of chaos. And let's be real, the Globes were never about pure artistic merit. They were about the spectacle.
Don't use it as a platform to make a political speech.
The A-list stars, the wild table settings with unlimited champagne, the totally unpredictable wins. The Golden Globes were Hollywood's one night to party. It was the awards show where anything could happen. You might see an underdog win big. You might see an A-lister get tipsy and deliver the greatest speech of their career. You might even see a host roast the entire industry to their faces and somehow get invited back next year.
Anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg.
It was a night where Hollywood wasn't just polished and perfect, it was fun, loose, unfiltered. You could see genuine reactions, unplanned moments, and celebrities being, well, human. And that was the magic of it. But then something changed, and not in a good way. The first cracks in the Golden Globes' perfect champagne-soaked facade.
I feel bad about that joke. No, I'll tell you why.
They were subtle at first. Maybe a weird nomination here, a questionable winner there. But then people started noticing a pattern. It started with eyebrow-raising nominations. Remember The Tourist? Yeah, neither do we. But somehow it got nominated for Best Comedy or Musical. A movie that was neither a comedy nor a musical. The only thing funny about it was the nomination itself. Then came The Martian, a sci-fi drama about an astronaut stranded on Mars winning Best Comedy, because nothing says hilarious like existential isolation in space. But weird nominations happen, right? Maybe just an oversight, except it kept happening. Then came the bizarre out-of-nowhere wins. It was as if the HFPA spun a giant wheel of randomness and decided, yeah, that'll do. The winners started making less and less sense. When even the winners themselves looked confused on stage, you know something's off. And let's not forget the who even voted for this moments. The Golden Globes started handing out trophies like Oprah giving away cars. You get a globe, and you get a globe, and who even are you? You get one too. People started asking, wait, who actually votes for this? That's when the mystery deepened. The Hollywood Foreign Press Association, this elite exclusive club, turned out to be a group of just 90 international journalists. And by journalists, we don't mean Pulitzer Prize winning reporters, more like entertainment writers, freelancers, and a few people whose credentials seemed questionable at best. This wasn't a prestigious panel of cinematic experts. It was a tiny, obscure club that somehow had the power to make or break careers. And then came the whispers, the rumors of backroom deals, schmoozing, and something far worse than just bad taste. It turned out HFPA members weren't exactly picking winners based on merit. They were picking them based on who treated them the nicest. Fancy dinners, gift baskets, all expense-paid vacations. Oh, absolutely. Imagine if your high school prom committee could single-handedly decide who gets an Oscar. Yeah, that's basically what was happening. But it didn't stop at minor perks. These weren't just casual dinner invitations. We're talking luxury treatment. Studio execs would wine and dine HFPA members, fly them to exotic locations, and shower them with gifts, all in hopes of securing nominations. It wasn't about the best performances. It was about who could throw the best party. And then the scandals really started piling up. Reports surfaced detailing just how deep the corruption went. HFPA members were enjoying all expenses paid luxury trips courtesy of studios, making their unbiased votes look about as legitimate as a rigged reality TV show finale. And then came the revelation that rocked Hollywood. The HFPA had no black members. None.
The Hollywood Foreign Press Association is made up of around 90 international no-black journalists.
Not until 2021. In an industry that prides itself on progress and inclusion, this was a PR disaster waiting to happen. And happen it did. The fallout was swift. Major studios distanced themselves. Celebrities refused to show up. Even NBC, the longtime broadcaster of the event, pulled the plug.
NBC has announced it will not air the 2022 Golden Globe Award.
And for the first time in decades, the Golden Globes were officially irrelevant. But let's not forget the cringe-worthy moments that didn't help their case. Awkward celebrity interactions, forced social media moments, and speeches so painfully scripted they felt like AI-generated responses.
Backstage, I found these 3 Golden Globe Awards that Tom Cruise returned.
The authenticity was gone, replaced by a desperate attempt to stay relevant. And when a show loses its credibility and its entertainment value, what's left? A participation trophy ceremony no one respects and no one wants to watch. At that point, even the celebrities started treating it like a chore rather than an honor. Well, that's the perfect recipe for disaster. By 2021, the cracks were no longer cracks. They were gaping holes. The Los Angeles Times exposed what everyone suspected. The HFPA wasn't just a questionable organization, it was a full-blown joke. We're talking about bribes, favoritism, and a complete lack of diversity. In an era when Hollywood was pushing for inclusivity and representation, this was more than just an oversight. It was an industry-wide embarrassment. None.
Now for the latest on the Golden Globes, the awards show struggling to survive amid the backlash.
In an organization that's supposed to represent international film and television, you'd think they were curating awards in the 1950s, not 2021. And then came the backlash. Celebrities who once played the game suddenly started speaking out. Tom Cruise, Hollywood's golden boy, returned his 3 Golden Globes in protest. That's right, he literally gave them back. And when someone like Tom Cruise, a man who spent his entire career charming Hollywood, says, "Nope, I'm out," you know it's bad.
Tom Cruise is returning his 3 Golden Globe statues to protest the Hollywood Foreign Press Association.
But he wasn't alone. Scarlett Johansson openly criticized the HFPA, calling out its history of sexist questioning and harassment, saying she had been subjected to sexist remarks and questions by certain HFPA members that bordered on sexual harassment. And then there's Mark Ruffalo, who won a Golden Globe that very year but publicly stated he couldn't feel proud of the award given the organization's deep-rooted issues.
Here are the nominees for Best Actor.
And perhaps the most damning of all,
Brendan Fraser!
Brendan Fraser, a former Hollywood A-lister who revealed he was sexually assaulted by a high-ranking HFPA member, refused to attend the Globes entirely, stating, "My mother didn't raise a hypocrite." When the people who should be celebrating your awards are instead condemning you, that's when you know the game is over. NBC, the network that had aired the ceremony for years, took one look at the chaos and said, "Yeah, we're good," pulling the plug on the 2022 broadcast.
NBC has announced it will not air the 2022 Golden Globe Awards, saying that the organization...
The Golden Globes, for the first time in years, were completely off the air. No red carpet, no awkward speeches, just silence. A whole ceremony happened and nobody even saw it. And honestly, no one seemed to care. But let's rewind a little. The warning signs were there for years. Take the HFPA's habit of nominating movies and actors who, let's be honest, had no business being there. It became a running joke that you could buy a nomination with the right campaign. And when I say campaign, I mean throwing extravagant parties and sending HFPA members on 5-star vacations. Remember when Emily in Paris got nominated for Best Comedy or Musical? And not just any nomination, one that felt so blatantly out of place that even the show's own writers were confused, because nothing says award-worthy like influencer cliches and baguette stereotypes. Yeah, the same show that was basically an Instagram influencer's fever dream of what Paris is like. Well, it turns out some HFPA members got treated to an all-expenses-paid trip to Paris, complete with luxury accommodations and a lavish set visit. And then, what do you know? Emily in Paris ends up with a nomination. Shocking, truly. So what happens when an awards show loses all credibility? Well, for starters, nobody takes it seriously anymore. The Golden Globes went from must-watch TV to an awkward relic, like finding an old MySpace page full of cringy selfies. The winners, no longer a career-defining moment, but just another press release lost in the noise. And the ratings? Oh boy. The 2023 broadcast was basically a ghost town. More people probably watched a random Twitch stream of someone assembling IKEA furniture. No one watched. No one tweeted. The memes? Barely there. And let's be honest, if an event doesn't generate memes in 2024, did it even happen? Meanwhile, the industry has moved on. Other awards shows, like the Critics' Choice Awards and SAG Awards, have started filling the void. And the Golden Globes, they're like that one high school reunion where nobody shows up because the popular kids got canceled. And the ceremony itself, it feels off. The fun, the chaos, the unpredictability, gone. What's left is a desperate attempt to recapture relevance, but with all the soul sucked out. It's like when your favorite TV show goes on for too many seasons and loses what made it great in the first place. At this point, the Golden Globes are the Walking Dead of awards shows. Once revolutionary, now dragging itself forward long past its expiration date, with fewer and fewer people tuning in each year. And let's talk about the speeches. Once upon a time, the Golden Globes were known for their iconic unfiltered moments. Drunk celebrities saying whatever they wanted.
I am feeling a little... My wife and I did a shot of tequila with Mario Lopez.
Ricky Gervais roasting the entire industry to their faces. But now, everything feels scripted, sanitized, boring. It's like watching a corporate PowerPoint presentation, but with more sequins. But the real death blow? The public just doesn't care anymore. The Golden Globes were always the fun awards show because they didn't take themselves too seriously. But when people realized the whole thing was basically a rigged popularity contest, it stopped being fun. And once you lose the fun factor, what's the point? So, can the Golden Globes be saved? Well, maybe, but it would take a complete reinvention, a total purge of the old system, more transparency, more credibility, and, let's be real, less corporate nonsense. First, they'd need to completely overhaul the HFPA. More diverse membership, real film critics, and people who actually care about the craft rather than just the perks. Second, they need to embrace the chaos again. Let celebrities be weird. Let the speeches be real. Let the hosts say what they actually think. Bring back the unpredictability that made the Globes worth watching in the first place. But here's the real question. Do we even need the Golden Globes anymore? Hollywood has changed. The way we consume entertainment has changed. Maybe this is just the natural order of things. Maybe the Golden Globes were never meant to last forever. Or maybe, just maybe, it's time for a new awards show. One that actually means something. One that's not just a glorified networking event for rich people. Maybe an awards show voted on by the actual audience. Maybe something that reflects what people genuinely love rather than what a handful of journalists decide is worthy. Imagine an awards show that actually celebrates movies and TV shows people watch, instead of making everyone feel bad for not having seen an obscure 3-hour drama about existential despair. Because at the end of the day, that's what the Golden Globes forgot. Entertainment is evolving. Fans don't just want passive viewing anymore. They want engagement, interactivity, and authenticity. And that's something no amount of forced celebrity banter can fix. Until then, we'll always have the memes. Oh, and speaking of engagement, this is where you come in. If you want more deep dives like this, more brutal honesty, and more awards show takedowns, or who knows, maybe the blueprint for the real awards show we actually deserve, hit that subscribe button. Otherwise, the Golden Globes will personally send you an invite to their next ceremony. Front row, 5-hour runtime, and no bathroom breaks.